Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another Red Box review with your host, Cool Whip and Sugar Cane.
Cool Whip and Sugar Cane, Red Box movie review. Yeah, it's Cool Whip and Sugar Cane.
And now please welcome two guys who thought a red box was a side effect of Viagra, Cool Whip and Sugar Cane.
Achoo.
That sound must mean it is time for another episode of Cool Whip and Sugar Cane's Red Box Movie Reviews. I'm Cool Whip.
I'm Sugar Cane.
I think I'm on the wrong podcast.
And that you just heard was Juicebox. For those of you in our listenership out there that was expecting to hear another episode of Raising Nashville this week, we
got you, bitch.
we are throwing it back to a podcast we used to have called Cool Whip and Sugar Cane's Red Box Movie Reviews, because when we review a movie, it turns into this podcast.
That's
it
right.
just somehow gets in the DeLorean and goes back in time and revisits us from a different podcast.
Back to 2011 when times were simpler.
That is correct.
Safer.
And before we get into the episode this week, we do want to preface that this episode is and has been recorded on March 22nd, 2020. We are currently in the first day of the not shelter in place. It was what did the mayor call it? It was like basically shelter at home,
Shelter
or
in place.
it was a suggestion.
Right, yeah.
We are not in the state of Tennessee in a full shelter in place at this moment. We are in a suggestion period that we all stay at home.
Right.
With that said, with the pandemic out there of the coronavirus and COVID-19, again, we want to preface that this episode was recorded on March 22nd. There were two episodes that came out before this episode, and we hope you really enjoyed that. One was our 50th, which was a huge one.
Very huge.
Yeah.
Our wives took over the podcast and just ripped through, and I think did a slightly better job than we possibly did.
Yeah.
Definitely you.
They kind of trash talked us a little bit, but hey, that's all right.
But it was fun to have them on the podcast and give us and our vocal cords a break for a week. And then after that was our 51st episode, where we were interviewed three different local podcasts here in Nashville: Dad's Drinking Beer, the 99% Local Podcast, and San Dimas Today.
It's bourbon.
Yeah, it was Dad's drinking bourbon.
Sorry. I am drinking beer currently, so that might help a little bit. But we are back with an episode of Cool Whip and Sugar Cane's Red Box Movie Reviews, because during these times, we have decided to do something that I think most of you out there have done with your isolation or your quarantine or your social distancing, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure you're watching a lot of TV and movies. So we decided to dive into, currently today, the number 3 in trending on Netflix,
Yeah.
which was the 1995 blockbuster Outbreak.
It was a blockbuster.
I tend to use that word a lot, don't I?
Yeah, you do. I think it was. I was looking at the budget, and it was like had a $50 million budget. So I feel like that's a pretty big blockbuster. Plus, there was a lot of helicopter shots and stuff like that. And I was thinking about it at the time, like, that's pre-CGI. We can talk about it in a little bit, but you can definitely tell the effects in this movie.
Yeah,
A lot of explosions.
They had some
Yeah.
special effects
For
sure.
a lot of explosions for an outbreak of a virus.
Well,
And
there's one way to take care of a virus.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
Blow
right.
that shit up, apparently.
Hey, you said Captain Planet could burn a virus.
No, I didn't say how Captain Planet would take care of the virus. I just said that fire was probably one of the things that helped.
Yeah. Okay, so before we jump into this movie, I also want to add, like, we were going to watch Contagion because that's allegedly a better movie, and none of us had seen that either. I don't know, had you guys seen Outbreak?
I had not seen either.
I think I saw Outbreak back whenever it came out.
See, I thought that too, and then when I watched it, I was like, nah, I haven't seen this.
I knew when it came on, I was like, man, I know that monkey. I've seen that monkey before.
I'll tell you, we'll talk about that in a little bit too. But anyway, we were going to watch Contagion, then we got on Amazon, and it was like a $5 riddle, and I think all of us were collectively like, no.
It was not even a thought between us. We texted each other, and I think Juicebox said, this is $4.99, and we were like, yeah, we'll go with Outbreak.
Yeah.
we all have Netflix. So that's what we decided to do for you today. I'm sure some of you, probably most of you that listen to us out there, have seen Outbreak in the last few weeks because, one...
Somebody's watching it, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's through number 3 trending on Netflix. I have a feeling by the time this podcast comes out, it might be number 1. I didn't see what was number 1 or 2. I think Frozen 2 was one of those.
That's not on Netflix, though.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
on something
Is
else.
that Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can eliminate that because Frozen 2 was the other option for us to record today, and I am so glad that we did not do that.
Me too.
Yeah. So let's dive into the 1995. I'm calling it a blockbuster, Outbreak. The first thing that pops up on the screen when Outbreak starts, and I've never seen this movie, is a quote by a doctor named Joshua Letterberg. Mm-hmm. And the quote that just pops up on the screen could be relevant to us today, but it says the single biggest threat to man's continued dominance on the planet is the virus.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously we're not dealing in numbers like they were in Outbreak or the severity of it, but is this current virus, COVID-19, the coronavirus,
I mean,
going to help our dominance on this planet?
help it? No. Hurt it? Maybe.
Okay.
I think it could help because it can hopefully help us understand how diseases spread a little bit easier. So next time something like this pops up, it's not even going to get to this level
Stage,
of where we're
right.
having to stay in our houses or, not go out in public.
That's true.
Yeah.
So the first scene opens and they are in Africa. So
Right,
there's a
yeah.
disease that had apparently spread to a town of Africa. We can probably do some correlation here to what's the town that COVID-19 was found in?
Wuhan.
Wuhan.
Hey, hold on. Let's back up. Let's talk about who's in this movie.
Yeah, I want to jump into that too.
That's
We need
what
to
I
talk
was
about
about to get into, though.
We need to talk plot. We need to talk about.
I know, but the very first scene is in Africa, and there are a couple of people that visit this town, and they've got these masks on, and all you can hear is voices, right? And the first thought I had was, is one of those guys Josh Brolin? And I immediately got excited because I thought it was his voice. Come to find out, Josh Brolin's not in the movie. It was a big letdown for me. But
I'm gonna let down with this story.
no, it was a huge letdown for me. But when they started unraveling the cast and the opening credits come on, I start seeing some names, and I immediately get excited, which throughout the word, and I wrote down blockbuster because of the people that are in this movie.
Exactly. I wish before we had watched it, we could have just been like, tell me who you think is in this movie. Or maybe ask somebody that had never seen this movie, like, hey, this is the movie that came out in 1995. It was a blockbuster.
Yep. Is that blockbuster?
Tell me who is in it. I feel like people could guess 4 of the 5 made actors.
Yeah,
in
I
this
think I
movie.
could have got the main 3.
If we were in 95, I think I could have guessed it. If somebody would have said now, who do you think was in who do you think's in Outbreak? I did not look up Outbreak before I clicked play, and I had no idea until the opening credits who was in it.
I didn't know who all was in it either. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised too. But yeah, if I was in 1995, I'm sure I could tell you everybody that's in it too.
Right. No, I just think now you could just think of who is a popular 90s actor, and it's like they're in this movie. We're
Just
missing
about.
Tom Hanks.
or Tommy Lee Jones. Here's my other theory. All the people that I feel like this was being shot at the same time as Armageddon because the other 90s people are all in that movie. Everybody that's in that movie is not in this movie, and everybody that's in this movie is not in
That's a good
Armageddon.
point.
Who made the right decision?
I'm not watching Armageddon this week.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you never know.
But you've definitely seen Armageddon.
I don't think I have.
You've
Is that the
gotta be-
Bruce Willis one?
No, it's the one with...
It is. It's the Bruce Willis one. It's
Yeah,
Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, fly to an asteroid, blow it up with a nuke.
Never saw it.
Oh, I'm thinking about the one with the Randy
Independence Day?
Independence Day.
Okay.
Independence Day and Armageddon kind of hand in hand.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
It was like Air
Independence
Force
Day's got-
One and
I mean,
Aliens.
Yeah, they're not the same movie.
gotcha. All right, so Credits roll. We find out who is in this movie. Dustin Hoffman
Dustin Hoffman.
does an amazing job. Although, now that the Meet the Fockers trilogy has come out, I cannot get over the fact that Dustin Hoffman plays Ben Stiller's dad.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a solid actor. He's a good actor. So yeah, he does an okay job in this.
All right.
I think he gets angry for no reason on some things, but okay.
Sure. That's his acting skills.
Right, that's his thing.
Yeah.
You've also got pre-rapey Kevin Spacey.
I think we can talk about that about a few people in this movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Okay,
and maybe it wasn't pre-rapey. Maybe it's prime rapey. I didn't think. Okay.
Oh yeah, probably
definitely right,
prime rapey.
Also, blonde Kevin Spacey. Or like reddish blonde.
Has red
the
hair,
hair
for sure.
to
Yeah.
me just threw me off.
His whole character, just like even beyond thinking what a creep that we know Kevin Spacey is now, like that character was fucking creepy.
I agree.
Like,
His hair looked like he tried to dye it blonde and it turned orange. And
Within the first 5 minutes, my wife looks at me because we watched it together, and she said, "He's gonna die," and I was like, "Yeah."
my
master.
third note is off top. I want Spacey to get infected and die.
yeah.
I wanted that to happen.
You also have Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, yeah.
in this movie,
He does a great job.
wearing army fatigues, and for a split second there, it took me a second because I literally thought that he was in the movie Toys with Robin Williams, but I had to realize that was LL Cool J and not Cuba Gooding Jr.
Okay, I'll cut out that bit of racism.
Yep.
That was not intended. I just thought that he played the same role in 2 movies.
And this is pre-touchy Cuba Gooding Jr.
This
right?
is pre-touchy, pre-canceled Cuba.
Can we just say this
pre-groping.
is pre-everything?
Well, hold on. There's a scene in the movie where he touches this other like lab assistant, and I was like, that was just unnecessary in that scene. It was weird, and I wonder if I was zoned in because of
Maybe
what
so.
he's
I
going
didn't
through
pick
now.
up on that, but hey.
Also, we have to talk about
Hold on. You think Cuba Gooding Jr. did a good job of this movie?
Yes.
Okay.
You have got to be kidding me.
Like, I don't think he did a terrible job, but I wouldn't be like this wasn't just like some great role. He didn't like do anything
No,
great.
no. I'm
he
not
does
saying
not
just-
play
I
a
think-
tough guy at all.
I think out of everybody acting, he did a good job.
You thought his panicked acting was great.
Was perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Up next is one of Sugarcane's favorite voice actors.
Rene Russo.
I was going to say Morgan Freeman
Oh,
because
Andy Dufresne.
still doesn't sound like Morgan Freeman, but we're getting closer by the podcast, I
Hold on,
guess.
let me try this. Mataba.
That actually sounded pretty good.
That was a little closer. Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. Donald Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland, yeah. Like, Donald Sutherland always been an old man his whole entire life. Donald Sutherland.
Dude, I wrote my fourth note. Donald Sutherland. Is he immortal?
Yeah.
Maybe.
How
I mean,
old
even
is he?
in like, think about it in Animal House when he was like the professor, like, he looked younger, but he still was old in that. Like, and that movie came out 40 years ago.
I think
True.
he was just in a movie too. I think like this guy, who knows how old he is.
I think Kiefer Sutherland is also immortal. I think it's the whole family. None of them aged really. But Donald Sutherland does.
Kiefer Sutherland's aged. Yeah.
Has he?
No doubt.
I hadn't seen him lately. Donald Sutherland plays a pretty good bad guy in this movie. Although it's kind of an odd situation to have a bad guy.
I don't even know if he's really the bad guy. Is he? Like, he's just the guy that's taking orders
he's
and like
delivering the
following-
orders.
Yeah, he's the person that's not breaking the rules or whatever. Like,
Well, they have
Well-
placed him as the bad guy.
Well, he's also doing it to develop a weapon, right? Like, wasn't that the whole thing that they developed it as a weapon, and he's just trying to keep the secret of the weapon?
I guess that's true.
I mean,
He's a company man.
yeah,
mean,
that's it. Yeah,
ultimately.
he's the
there you
company
go.
man.
There you go.
So then we have one of the hot doctors that women woo over from Grey's Anatomy.
Patrick Dempsey.
Is that his name?
Yeah, that fucking threw me off too. At first, I was like, "Wait a minute, is that Eddie Vedder?" No, it's Patrick Dempsey. Like,
Yeah.
And then the guy who helps him get the monkey out of the hospital is one of the guys from those spoof horror movies.
Scary movie?
No.
One of the Wayans brothers?
The zombie spoof horror movies. There was what is that? What are those called?
Shaun of the Dead.
Yes, the guy from Shaun of the Dead.
Simon
guy?
Pegg.
Yes,
No.
yes.
No,
It was not- no.
That wasn't him?
No.
Oh, dude,
Dude.
I think that was the security guard that let Doctor from Grey's
You're
Anatomy.
out- You're out of
No.
here.
Oh, then that's a letdown.
So you'll look up Josh.
Who was that?
You'll
Then
look
who
up
was that
Josh.
guy?
You'll look up Josh Brolin
Like,
off of a random
Nobody.
voiceover.
Like, he is 100 people down on the IMDb. Like, I tried to figure it out. I could not. I
He
don't
was
know.
definitely not a nobody. We're going to come back to that, so I'm going to have some time to look that up. But, all right, so finally, and I don't think there are any other, famous actors in this movie, but finally we have to get to the point where the lead female role in this movie is played by 90s Rene Russo.
Yeah.
Okay. So, with this said, I have to ask, and I hope this isn't appropriate to our listenership out there.
You hope it's not appropriate?
Not inappropriate. Is Rene Russo hot?
Yes.
Super hot. Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad that you guys agree. She was.
See,
yes.
she gets me. You okay?
Got excited for a second.
She gets me excited the way Josh Brolin gets you excited.
Josh Brolin doesn't get me excited in that way.
Can we rewind?
No.
Yeah, right. Can we rewind like to multiple different podcasts? No, I wrote down like Rene Russo is super hot. I mean, honestly, I think she was a model before she was an actress. So like, it's not like she,
sense.
it's not like people don't know she's hot.
Okay.
But she had the misfortune of doing some of her best work in the like 90s and early 2000s when hair was the worst. Like, her hair is so terrible, and the hair, I wrote down, everybody's hair in this movie is just terrible.
I agree.
Like, every single person. Kevin Spacey, Rene Russo, like
Morgan Freeman.
well, yeah. I mean, he just has a military type haircut
Yeah.
or whatever. But it was just like so. Eddie Vedder, like, I mean, Patrick Dempsey, like, everybody had just terrible '90s hair, and I just
true.
wrote down the '90s had the worst hair.
I agree.
Not really a point about this movie, just more a point about the '90s.
But in the 90s, they thought people in the 80s had the worst hair too.
I'm sorry. I'm
Just
still
throwing that
looking.
out
I'm still trying to prove the fact that security guard was. He wasn't, but I did find him.
So we've given you who's in the movie. We've talked about.
Yeah, so let's
Let's
just
get into
jump in and talk about a couple of the points. So like we were talking about earlier, not Josh Brolin and another guy show up to this camp where there's an outbreak of some sort, and this is in 1967.
Yeah.
Like, and it's in Africa. Is that what it was? Zaire,
Zaire.
Africa. Okay. So they show up. They like go into this camp. They're like, everybody's infected. What the hell? Let's get the hell out of here. And they're flying away, and they're like, send in the plane. So they send in a plane. Everybody thinks they're getting saved. They drop a nuke or something on this campsite.
Right.
So, or on this village. And I just wrote down, dropping a nuke on the virus. This movie was definitely made in the 90s. I feel like
doubt.
every problem in movies in the 90s, every problem was solved with a nuke.
Or it was the plot of a missing nuke, or nukes were all abound.
Yeah, that was it. It was just like nuke weapons everywhere.
So then they.
So it jumps to present day. Should we do plot by Juicebox, and then we'll read you the plot of the movie, and then Juicebox will summarize it with his own plot.
That's right, and that is a Cool Whip and Sugar Cane's Redbox movie review staple. We have a segment called Plot by Juicebox.
Okay, so the original plot is: Army doctors struggle to find a cure for a deadly virus spreading throughout a California town that was brought to America by an African monkey.
That's it.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it. So I tried to keep mine kind of short and sweet, just like that. Two people on the verge of divorce rekindle their love over the blood-tiered, pus-blistered, virus-infected populace of a small California town.
That makes it sound better.
I mean-
there's rekindled love. There's, they've got something to overcome.
Right. That's
Yeah.
really at what's at the crux of it is the love
It
story.
is. It has nothing to do with an outbreak. It's just a love story.
Which is a main line of every single 90s movie.
It's very 90s.
I guess that's true.
My movie Marriage is really going to just bang it out.
Just tie it up.
So in this movie, again, to recap, the virus comes from one single monkey, one tiny little cute monkey that you would see in the zoo that you would definitely want to pet.
Totally. And that monkey also was a star on the TV show Friends.
Was
Same
it really?
monkey.
Same monkey, man. That was a busy monkey.
How long do
Nice.
monkeys live?
I don't know, but the 90s were great for that. I mean, that monkey's dead now. He's
Okay.
gotta be.
Was he?
It wasn't the monkey in what is it, Hangover 3?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
Is there
think
like
it was.
one trained actor monkey?
Did that monkey also star in like its own like soccer kids movie? I just feel like that's a 90s
He was
thing.
the star
No,
of a soccer
that's-
kids movie.
That's a good point, dude. The monkey is not listed on the IMDb, and it damn well should be because it has multiple. It has more credits than
Yeah.
most people, like most regular people.
Okay, so
More than that security fucking guard.
and so during this movie, you find out this monkey is not carrying one virus, but two strains of the same virus, and the single host of these two viruses is one tiny monkey.
Right,
Like,
right.
It can't go into another being or body and become a host in another one. It is all narrowed down to one tiny monkey.
Carrying two strains of the same, two strains of a virus.
And I have to say that when they discovered like the virus, like and they're going through X-rays or little, things that they put under a microscope, the virus looks like a knot that they would teach you in Boy Scouts.
That shit was so 90s too. Like it was like we don't have the technology or budget to show anything cooler, so there's just this thing like that looks like a loop, and here's one loop that looks exactly like it, and they're like, look, it's slightly different, and this is like a major plot point right here. This tiny little jagged line on this thing.
Yeah. And then before it gets to the United States, they find out that what is it? The doctor from Grey's Anatomy, Patrick Dempsey,
Yeah.
is been infected by the host monkey because he steals the monkey from a lab or from a monkey facility. I don't know what they call those things.
What the hell was that?
He needed
too?
to make
Like-
some extra cash, so he takes the cutest monkey in the monkey asylum and takes him to try to sell him to a pet store, which to me is hilarious. Then he he gets the virus.
Right.
He gets on a plane.
He gets the virus because the monkey spits in his face or does something else into his face. They don't really show whatever he does is off camera. So
Yeah. So he gets on this plane and I have no idea where he's going, but he
Let's
looks
back up.
awfully sick, like flu sick.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's got
he's
the
like dying.
He looks like he's dying.
he's got the shit, man.
When the little kid comes up and wants to grab the cookie, but then you get that classic 90s arm save from his mom, grabs the arm right before he touches the cookie.
Yeah.
So because you think the kid's going to get it,
Yeah,
and then
you're
you're like,
like,
She's like,
okay.
Billy, you don't eat strangers' fucking cookies. Do we have to talk about this again? What the fuck?
Especially when a bite has already been taken
Right.
out of it.
Billy.
The kid's like, you going to eat the rest of that? A complete stranger.
You're gonna get a spanking when we get home, Billy. This character's name is Jimbo. All right, the Patrick Dempsey dude, Eddie Vedder. And I feel like in our current situation, he is the Spring Breakers in Miami.
That's
Okay.
very true.
Yeah.
And before he gets on the plane and tries to seduce the kid with the disease, he also lets the host go in the middle of the woods. So he can't illegally sell the monkey because he fucked up and got a male or a female instead of a male.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, I'll just cut my losses, let it off out here in the woods.
So Patrick Dempsey's on the plane. The plane gets off. He gets sick in the airport. His girlfriend gets sick. You all see them go to the hospital.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about
Open
about
mouth
that.
kiss?
Yes, like oh my god, that dude was obviously just in the worst shape, and it's just like, blah, 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 and then he starts spitting out and fucking like.
And this chick's just like, oh, I missed you anyway. Fuck it, let's make out.
I mean, and it wasn't just make out. It was like
Sloppy.
open mouth.
I mean,
Like,
we've all
sloppy.
missed our significant other, but I mean, let's talk about this. Like, they get off a plane looking like that. I don't even. You're like, nope.
Dude,
I've never kissed my wife like that ever.
I was gonna say it's probably been like since like middle school,
Especially
Since
not in public.
middle school since I made out like that. Right
So
in the
those
middle
two contract the
airport.
virus. He's about to die. She's now got it. And then they put him in the hospital. Rene Russo kind of takes over at this point. And there's a specific scene in this movie that I just think is absolutely 90s and hilarious, is the fact that they test everybody on the plane, right? And they only have 2 tests, so they're all excited in this like control room. And they find out the airline's clean. This is before they find out about the town in California. They're all celebrating in this control room, and then a fax comes in about a movie theater. And literally, the fax comes in, just stops the entire room from celebrating, and they all congregate around the fax machine, and then the mood just goes from one to the other. That fax could have been a congratulations. That fax could have been just another thing that they've got to work on, or more, I don't know, copies. I have no idea.
Oh, before they even read it, they just like...
it just stopped, and they all go to the fax machine, and they're all just like disappointed and down.
Maybe that's the shit hit the fan fax machine. Something only comes through on it if it's
I
like...
didn't think about that. It's like the
phone fax
red
machine.
button.
Yeah.
So at this point in the movie, I get up to either take a leak or go smoke or something, and I lost. I did not realize how the virus got to the movie theater in the town in Northern California, which is where most of the movie takes place.
That was all from... Because the dude... Okay.
Is this stumped y'all too? Did y'all take breaks at this time?
No. There's like several things that happened. It was like the dude that got scratched inside the pet store got sick,
Right.
went to the doctor. They took his blood. They put the blood in a centrifuge machine that like spins it around to separate it out or whatever. That thing exploded on a dude's face and sprayed the blood into his face. And then like he was like freaking out, and the doctor like cleaned him up. Was like, "Oh, I'm sure you're fine."
Yeah, you'll be all right.
And then like he was like, "I'm nervous about passing something to my girlfriend or something." And he's like, "No, you're good." Sends the dude home. He goes to the movie theater. Bucky.
And he is all jacked up. At
Wait,
this movie
all
theater.
of this happened while I was taking a leak?
Yeah, it happened so fast. That's what I was gonna say. It happened so fast in the movie. Like it just, and I guess that's kind of good. It shows you how quickly the
Yeah.
thing can like escalate and spread. But I guess you missed the scene where the dude sneezes in the movie theater.
No, I
and it
saw that.
okay.
That's where I came back.
Okay, so yeah, that's it. Like
The
that,
airborne, it gets in people's mouths.
That's
He
the
goes-
guy that was testing the blood, and the centrifuge machine exploded in his face and sprayed blood all over him.
Yeah.
So there was so many things that happened in this movie to even just like help perpetuate this spread.
You should have paused it. So he
hadn't
opened
seen enough.
he opened the spinning machine because
early.
he wasn't paying attention because he was listening to a radio baseball game.
That's-
and he was like really into this baseball game. He's like, oh shit, like he had a lot of money on it or something. He's like, oh no, oh man, no, and he just opens the machine and just blood all over him. He's like,
Oh my god, I fucking forgot about that aspect.
Maybe I should go back and rewatch that
Fucking-
scene.
It
this
is.
fucking movie.
it's great. And then with Dustin Hoffman's in the hospital and he's seeing all these sick people and he's like, it's spread in a movie theater. Now you got to think. Now this was a blockbuster, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you had a lot of people in theaters watching this, and he's looking almost at the camera and says, "It's spread in a movie theater."
Breaking the fourth wall in
Almost.
1995.
Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think people are probably getting a little itchy in there, like. Eh.
That's the point. So we got a quarantine town in California. This is pretty much where the entire movie takes place. There's about 2,800 people that live in this town. And they are all going ballistic, finding out that they all have this virus. They shut the town down, military everywhere. In fact, they said 2,800 people in this town. There was a point in the movie where I thought there was 2,800 troops in that town with them, like one troop for one person.
It almost seemed like it. I mean, that was like a full military lockdown.
That's when we get into the helicopters, the explosions, everything is going on in this tiny little Northern California town, so they can kind of keep it into one area. It gets to the point where they are all trying to escape the town, and people are just trying to help them through this pandemic. And they're driving off. Trucks are getting blown up. There was one scene where I wrote down, "Oh shit, truckers got for real." I mean, by like a fucking military helicopter.
You don't take shots at a military helicopter.
I was gonna say, could that have been more predictable? It's three like redneck looking dudes in a single seater old Ford truck. It's like, okay, as soon as we see them drive by that other car, it's like, well, I know how this is going to unfold immediately.
Yeah.
What the guy in the Bronco say? He's like, all right, get down, kids. He's like, what's Bobby doing?
Yeah. I wrote that was Billy Ray Cyrus.
That's where I wrote down, oh shit, the cure is to kill them all. Then I started thinking about that Metallica album.
Well, we had already seen that the cure was to kill them all because that's what they did in the first 2 minutes of the movie.
True. So Donald Sutherland and the president have the cure. They don't give the cure. They want to infect other people. This is how they control the world. And then, the all-star team of Dustin Hoffman, Cuba Gooding Jr., Rene Russo, and I'm going to give Kevin Spacey a little bit of credit on this. I think all of them were the reason that, we're still alive.
Okay.
I give Kevin Spacey no credit.
No credit?
Yeah.
He was pretty decent through the first half. I think he was trying to help.
Yeah.
He's just a cocky asshole.
Yeah. He did need to
You
die.
have that coworker.
Why'd you point at me like that?
I didn't mean to. All right, so we do it things. That's the movie. You've seen the movie. We gave our take on a couple of scenes.
It goes on and on. I just want to jump in and say one last thing. They find the monkey. Cuba Gooding Jr. tranquilizes the monkey from far away with a pistol in one shot, just
Like he
with a girl in
trains.
that shit was so. That scene. There were so many scenes in this movie. I was just like, this is so cheesy.
Yes.
This is so over the top cheesy. They're like, oh, only the little girl can draw the monkey out. Okay, she's drawing the monkey out. Oh, of course she steps in front of the shot. Can we please? Did you just pull every single cliche out of a hat and write it into this movie?
True.
Then they finally get the monkey back to the place. They literally make the cure in 5 minutes, right?
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden he comes in with a bag of Mountain Dew and is like, plug this into Rene Russo's shit. And then
Might as
that's
well have
it.
been a Rocky montage. I mean, as fast as this cure was,
You're right.
was
Yeah.
done.
Thank God the person that was making the cure wasn't listening to a baseball game.
We also have to bring up that badass helicopter chase. You get chases in movies. That was pretty well done.
That has to be the whole budget, right? We
Yeah.
looked it up. There was a $50 million budget. That had to have cost $20 million, right?
There's some impressive going under that bridge and
Yep.
along that rock wall was tight.
I think the helicopter chase was the climax for me.
I think Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character should have been a helicopter pilot instead of a fucking scientist. But I mean, he did make that cure in 5
I
minutes.
don't think that he was a helicopter pilot.
He was a helicopter. That was his only thing, right? I thought he was
No,
that
I think he was in the science part of it, but then I guess he also served flying. So I don't know, maybe
I
cross
didn't
trained.
understand that either. Yeah, because
I
he
mean-
was said he'd spent tons of hours flying choppers.
I mean, the other guy. Remember, Donald Sutherland talks to the other pilot, and he's like, "You're the best one in the."
But when you
Air
see
Force,
Cuba
he's like,
Gooding
yeah.
Jr. originally take off in the helicopter for the first time, he's all over the place, trying to get even up in the air. Then all of a sudden on this chase, he can go under bridges and cut corners and
Right.
do some Star Wars type shit.
It was
Right.
dope.
Yeah, exactly. Making the Kessel run in 4.3 parts. Sorry.
See, I'm telling you, man, Cuba Gooding, he's the.
Well, he
star.
wasn't really flying the helicopter, man.
I don't know, man.
So they found the monkey, save the day, and then you have that classic 90s scene, and we talked about this before the podcast, where there's mass hysteria, and everybody's somehow sitting around ambulances, and they're all okay with bandages and cloths on or towels on or blankets, whatever.
And the couple gets back together at the end that was getting divorced at the very beginning.
Yep. Because they went through a tragedy, and sometimes that brings you closer together.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
realize what's important. It's not those two dogs they kept fighting about.
Right. They should fast forward to 6 months later, and they're like, yeah, this really ain't working out.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of things we do on Cool Whip and Sugarcane's Redbox movie reviews, a couple of segments we like to do. One is movie marriage, and that is where we take two movies that have absolutely nothing to do with this movie, and we marry them and create a baby with those two movies, which
Right.
would be Outbreak at this point.
We have a theme.
Oh.
It's time for this week's movie marriage.
I need to tell you something. I'm pregnant.
Are you sure?
I got 7 kids. I think I know what I'm talking about.
And if you've listened to this podcast for this long into today's episode, if you go on our social media channels at Raising Nashville podcast. You know where to find us, and you comment on what movie that sound clip came from. You are going to win an autographed picture of us three at Nashville Nightmare this past fall.
We still don't have any takers. Huh?
No one wants it.
We
No
will
one wants
send
it.
that to you via the mail when we're able to go outside of our houses. But you will receive that autographed picture of all three of us at Nashville Nightmare, which happened in October. Anyway, so movie marriage, where we take two movies and we marry them together to become to have a baby. That baby is the 1995 blockbuster Outbreak. Who wants to go first?
All right, the mother of my movie marriage is Twister, and the father is The Fugitive. Twister, because you have that love thing between the two scientists, and then The Fugitive, because Harrison Ford is the monkey, and he doesn't like to be in cages, so that's it.
Okay, that makes no sense.
Yeah, it does.
My movie marriage is one that I haven't seen. It's called Contagion. Maybe one day I'll pay the $4.99 to watch it on Amazon, and I have married that with another blockbuster that I have seen named Congo. We've got
Almost
monkeys.
went Congo.
We've got an outbreak. We got Outbreak.
Okay, that's funny that you said Congo, because I also put down Congo because I think I was kind of confusing this movie with some scenes from Congo or something. Like I was
Yeah.
thinking of like when people got attacked by a bunch of monkeys or something like that, and I was thinking that was like the beginning and how it spread. But I think that was just the beginning of Congo and everybody died.
Yeah.
I really don't know if I remember that movie that well. at
Congo
this
was
point,
just a
but-
gorilla that took over, right?
There's bad gorillas, too.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was. They were like psycho gorillas or something.
Oh, yeah,
right?
because they
They're
got
like-
infected with something.
Right.
No, they're protecting like a city.
What?
That's Planet of the
they're-
Apes.
No. They're protecting like an ancient technology, lasers and shit.
What?
Yeah, it's
Wait,
Michael
no,
Crichton.
no,
It's
that's not
Michael
the
Crichton.
Congo
It's
I
Michael
remember.
Crichton. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I have not seen Congo either. I don't know what movie I thought that I'd seen that I thought was this movie that I thought was Congo. And now I don't know.
Good Lord.
So
We're going to roll with that, though.
so anyway, I put Congo and Armageddon because Armageddon is like like I said, the classic 90s movie. You solve your problem with a nuclear weapon.
There you go.
They solved their problem with a nuclear weapon. Or I'm sorry, in this movie, I guess it wasn't technically a nuclear weapon. It was some kind of super bomb, though.
Gotcha.
It's very 90s.
All right, so another segment that we have on Cool Whip and Sugarcane's Redbox movie reviews is we create a tagline for the movie, and this is how this works. Every single movie out there that you know of, you might not have heard it, but it has a tagline. So it's Outbreak, blah. And Juicebox is going to read us the tagline, and then what we do is we create our own taglines
Right.
to have a little fun with it.
In a movie voice.
Yeah,
In
you
a
have to
movie,
do it.
you have to do the movie voice.
So there was two taglines for this movie, which was kind of strange. So I'll read them both. First one, Outbreak. Try to remain calm.
That's not a bad tagline.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Second one,
That's what everybody should heed the advice of right now.
right, in March 22nd. All right, second one, Outbreak. This animal carries a deadly virus, and the greatest medical crisis in the world is about to happen.
That
Which I feel like was almost like that. I don't know if that's actually a tagline. Or I don't. It's
that was on the
flunky,
movie
right?
poster,
I don't know.
on those pop-ups
This is
you
just-
see at the theater.
No, I'm sorry. This is on IMDb. Like I grabbed them all. The IMDb is generally pretty good about having the taglines, but this one for some reason has two.
Sure.
But it seems like it should be, "And the greatest medical crisis in the world is about to." I don't know. Happen just seems like such a weird word there.
Yeah, you're right. It is weird.
I'm falling.
All right, so those are the taglines for the 1995 blockbuster Outbreak. Now, what we do is we kick it back to ourselves and create our own taglines. We like to have a little fun with it. We've seen the movie. We know what it's about. So, in one sentence or a couple of words, sum it up.
Outbreak. It spread in a movie theater.
I feel like y'all are just digging at me all the time.
Outbreak. Get that monkey.
What?
That was the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Get that monkey. Outbreak. It's probably not good to watch this film today.
I want you to try again.
I will. Outbreak. When money's tight, Netflix it is.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah, it's good.
Outbreak. This pandemic saved us money on divorce lawyers.
That's a good too.
Gotcha.
Outbreak. Kevin Spacey fucking died.
Oh, and we're all glad that he did.
Outbreak. At least 3 people in this movie have been canceled.
You're right.
That's like
funny.
any 90s movies you watch now, though. It's like, well,
Yep.
you're done.
Yep. You live too long.
Outbreak. Donald Sutherland says, kill them all.
Outbreak. Donald Sutherland is still alive.
That's true. All right, before we get into rating, which is something that we love to do on this show, we have our own personal ratings. I have a question for you guys and our listenership out there. Who you got? The current Trump administration or the combination of Dustin Hoffman, Cuba Gooding Jr., Kevin Spacey, Rene Russo, and Morgan Freeman?
I would give him a shot.
I'm talking I'm talking real people. Who you got? Would you give them a shot? Or are we giving our current administration...
like the actual actors?
Yes, the actors. But acting.
Acting like what?
They're acting like people who can save us
Man,
currently in
fuck you
today's time.
for saying this question. Like, what am I supposed to
So
pick?
I'm going to choose actors that are acting like they can save me in a situation.
What's the choice? What's even the choice there? You're making us pick the Trump administration. You're forcing us to pick that.
I'm not. I think that I would take the
Shut
actors.
the fuck up.
They played.
You want actors acting like they know what they're talking about.
But Morgan Freeman said he's going to save us, you guys. He told me, I swear.
They've had to study so many roles. I guarantee you, collectively, they could take this thing out. Do I have to go back to Captain Planet?
You need to go to the next question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Then, with that said, what we like to do on Cool Whip and Sugarcane's Redbox movie reviews is we like to rate this movie. We used to call it something different, but we want to rate this movie. We all have our rating systems. If you've listened to past episodes, even Raising Nashville episodes, you know our rating system. We picked our favorite movies. There are 3 sound clips of those movies. So what we want to do is go around the room and rate these.
Yeah. I'm going to give it my lowest rating. I was almost going to give it my middle of the road, but I thought I just don't care that much.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give it.
I don't got it. You klutz.
Because I honestly think that I've never seen this movie before. I thought it was entertaining. When I grew up, I loved blockbuster films. Things that came out in the summer, things that were, had big names, big stars, big budgets. This is no different. What I can say is I would suggest that our listenership out there stop watching movies like these because it is only creating more
Anxiety?
Yeah, yes, but it's creating this sense of imagination towards what we're currently dealing with becoming something like this, and it's not going to. So I'm giving it middle of the road just solely movie purposes.
It's not going to because they're not going to drop a bomb on us?
Yeah, so I'm going with Sugarcane on this one.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
Which is my lowest rating because I thought this movie was complete garbage. I don't think anybody should waste their 2 hours of their life watching it. Even if
Right.
you're on lockdown at home, I think you should fold laundry or do some dusting over watching this movie.
That's a good
I disagree. With all of the things out there that you're currently watching, you're running out of things to watch. You've binged your shows. You've seen the movies 100 times. You've seen the new stuff. You might have sprung for the 1999 movies that are out in the theater currently because we're all trying to do what we can to get by. This is something that I suggest that could be entertainment. If you haven't seen this movie, I'm not saying don't watch it, but I disagree with both of you.
I got a question. So what are you watching right now?
What do you mean?
Like, what are you watching?
Well, last night I watched Strange Wilderness. I did spring $3.99 for The Shining.
Oh, you've never seen
to
The Shining before?
I think I own it on DVD, but I would rather pay $3.99 than get a DVD player out, which I don't even know if I still have. But yes, the answer is I wouldn't pay $4.99 for Contagion because I knew we were going to have to watch one or the other.
So can I ask you this? If you paid $3.99 for a rental, why didn't you just pay like the $9.99 and go ahead and buy The Shining? Because you'll probably want to watch it again.
Because I don't know, I don't trust technology that far yet. I don't trust that I'm paying $9.99 and it's just going to stay on my TV and app forever.
It'll be saved in your Prime. I mean, it'll be saved. Okay, let's think about this. You'll probably watch The Shining at least 2 more times over the next year.
Mm-hmm. I think that being March 22nd, that we don't know what the future holds. When this episode comes out, Amazon could no longer be a thing.
Taco Bell's could be the only restaurants left.
That is what I'm hoping for. And I know all 3 of us are hoping for that.
And Dennis Leary is living in the sewers.
Yeah,
But he's the one with the cure.
What Juicebox? What are you watching?
Last night, Dana and I watched Bombshell. Have you guys seen that?
Mm-mm.
It's a movie about Fox News with.
Oh yeah, is it good?
Oh God, what is her?
Margot Robbie and
Charlize Theron. It's good, and I just want to say Charlize Theron is legit a really awesome actor.
Hell yeah.
She is so good at she can play so many different roles, and she's good at adapting to just whatever that character is and on the side, obviously she's very attractive,
right?
But it's even beyond that, she can just disappear into whatever role she's playing.
That's cool. All right.
So good movie. John Lithgow plays Roger Ayers. Dude, he nails it too. John Lithgow is another person that he's a solid actor.
Yeah, he's good.
People think about him
Mr. Henderson.
Third Rock from the Sun.
That's what I was gonna say. That cheesy ass TV show that was just came on when we were kid or younger. I feel like that's what he's known for. But man,
he's good.
He was a big late 80s actor.
Yeah, he was. He was in a lot of good shit. That season of Dexter that he was on, that was one of that's one of the best seasons of television ever, probably.
Where he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm watching right now a show it's on Netflix and it's called Tiger King.
I've seen the preview. That's been popping up a lot.
Dude.
Preview has been popping up.
Have you watched the whole preview? All the full trailer?
Yeah.
And with that music video at the end and all that?
I have not made it that far.
I don't know if I've seen the music video.
Oh, dude. So we started watching this thing, and it's about this guy named Joe Exotic. And it is the wildest shit I've ever seen. If it's all believable.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's worth watching.
This is all such old news at this point.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true.
I probably have already given it a chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do a follow-up. Well, we hope you enjoyed another episode of I almost slipped. Another episode of Cool Whip and Sugarcane's Redbox Movie Reviews, doing business as Raising Nashville this week. Wherever you are out there, if you are listening to podcasts because you are tired of watching TV, you have read all the books in your house, and now you are down to the bottom of the pits where you're listening to podcasts, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, we're here every Monday. Wherever you are, if you are listening to this through Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, wherever you get your podcast, please take 30 seconds and go on there and like us and rate us. Tell your friends about us. Go on our social media, where we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Raising Nashville. Shit, you know where to find us. But just like our stuff, enjoy it, DM us if there are any episodes that you want us to do, subjects you want us to cover. We will certainly consider it. Thank you so much again for this week, and
talk at you later.
Disinfect.
We hope you guys enjoyed listening. If you don't have children,
Have one.
have one.
Catch up.
Yeah, we want you to know what we go through.
Yeah, the fear.
Have you heard about the new dance craze? Listen to us, I'm sure you'll be amazed. Big fun to be had by everyone. It's up to you.